guys, it's SJ. Happy Baby Name Monday. I'm whispering a little bit because I'm actually not at home. I'm in a hotel room. In about 5 minutes time, I am about to go on Channel 4 to do Steph's Pat Lunch and talk all about Baby Name Envy, the podcast, and talk about baby names in general, and the guests are going to be there, so it's kind of a big scary thing a little bit. But I realised, oh my gosh, it's Monday, it's bank holiday, so I'd kind of forgotten, but I've got my name list ready for you and written, but I'd forgotten to film it, and it was a bit of a fun one. I thought because it's bank holiday here in the UK, I'm going to share with you names I hate that other people love, and then names I also love that other people I think don't like, so you get kind of a good balance. This is what I'm wearing on the TV show, by the way. I will put a link to it if they share anything on their socials. We're going to be talking about nominative determinism and people with names that match their jobs and then all sorts of stuff. So anyway, I know you guys are always interested in names that I don't like, and I never really share them with you because I am particularly liker of names. Obviously I wouldn't make these name lists every single Monday. If you are brand new, my name is SJ, I should say, and I make name lists every single Monday. Maybe you see me on Steph's Pat Lunch and you come to check out the channel. Normally I do a name list like on a theme, but yeah, these are ones that I do not like, would never use, but you guys love. So that's just personal. So all of these are subjective. So one name is the name Iris. So the reason Iris is a beautiful name, it hits so many of my things I like it's vintage, I love the meaning, that she's the personification of the rainbows. I think it's such a perfect name for now with the NHS as well, and everything else the rainbow stands for. But for me, I always think of eyeballs, and I've got this mad phobia of eyeballs. It's my worst thing in the entire world. Like even if one of the kids has something in their eye, like I would look, but I would rather do anything other than look in their eye. So for me, I could never use the name Iris. The next one is a name that you guys bring up so often. Don't know where it's come from. Maybe it's it must be a global thing. So I've not heard it so much in the UK, and it's the name Bellamy. So it's like Bella, and then Bellamy being kind of like beautiful and mine. So it's beautiful meaning, Bellamy. So many of you absolutely love it. I know it's your name. But for me, it's a real personal thing that me and my best friend had a joke growing up about the name Bellamy. There was this like wildlife guy on TV called David Bellamy, and for some reason we just found this joke about Bellamy, and we used to try and write the name Bellamy on each other's like pencil case or in their book or something to annoy them, and it was like a thing that you turn your page and it would say Bellamy across your book or something, and it was just this stupid joke that we had, me and my best friend. And whenever you guys write Bellamy, all I can think of is this guy David Bellamy. I don't know why. He must have been maybe like he was like a David Attenborough type of guy. Maybe our parents watched him. I have no idea. The name Mason, I've never really been drawn to it, and I know it's a Kardashian name and I love all of their names, and I particularly love Courtney, but Mason I've just never really got on board with, and I don't know why. I feel like to me maybe it's just a bit like Jason, and I love SON endings. I always try and find one that I love because I love Sunny. Mason, I don't know what it is for me. It's just a bit like Jason. I'm just not really ever worn to it as much. The name Elsie, so that's a vintage name that I know, again, I've got friends with Elsies, but the only reason with Elsie for me is that I really, some reason, associate it with L and C, like the letters. Whenever I hear Elsie, I really associate it just with an L and a C, and I'm an SJ, so I'm not criticising those initial names. It's just, I don't hear that sort of vintage, I just visualise L and C. I don't know why, it's just always been there, and I'm just like, whenever I hear it, it just doesn't have the same vibe to me. The name Eric, again, I know that's so booming at the moment, and actually one of my best friends in the world is hoping to have a baby, and Eric is their boy name, and I was a bit like, oh no, because we know so many Erics. Me and Helenrix know so many Erics. It's a very Scandinavian name. All his friends are Eric. It's getting really popular at the moment, and I just haven't got there with it, which is strange because I've got Henrik and Frederick, so it's really similar. But Eric for me, and I love the Disney like Ariel's my favourite, but I can't get there with Eric. Must be some association. And also the same with Elliot, which I have talked about before. I prefer Elliot for a girl. Now, if it's just an association I have from school, this boy called Elliot, he was a really horrible boy when I was really small, and it just goes to show, I think we'll talk about this a bit on the TV show, this nominative determinism, how we have such strong associations. And I know so many lovely Elliots, and for me it will always be a mean name or a not very nice name because of this one person who's probably lovely now. The other name I don't like is Helenrix, Hendrix, because Henrik is Henrik, he always gets called Hendrix so much, and it should be quite cool, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just that thing of that it kind of was irritating when people don't get his name right on his birthday cards or something, that I always think, oh, he didn't get his name right, maybe because I'm a Sarah Jane with a Jayne. Kind of gets my back up when people get his name wrong. So Hendrix for me is one that I've not really ever really loved, but do recommend it to a lot of you guys when it suits you. And I've done a name consultation where they actually chose Hendrix, which is one of the names we discussed, and it's perfect for them. It's just one of those that for me, yeah, I don't know, I'm not mad on the X in general. Like, I don't like Axel and all of those, the X's. I'm not huge on that. Maybe I'm just more of a softer name. And then the last one is one of my sister's favourite names, which is the name Bay. She absolutely loves it. She's sort of bringing it up on the podcast. I'm just kind of swerving it. I haven't said to her, I really don't like the name Bay. To me, it just seems like babe, you know, like Bay, all right, Bay, who's my Bay? Seems a bit like of that, but I know for her, and for a lot of you guys, it's just this beautiful nature name. I either do Water Bay or Bayleaf, and just really pretty, a bit like Boo. But for me, I just think of it as like a bit like homey, you know, like hey homie, hey Bay. I just can't get it out of my head. But the names that I love, oh literally I've got to be there in 5 minutes, I'm going on this show. Names I love that I'm not sure other people like. First up is the name Winston. And for so many years, I just had Winston Churchill in my head. Again, just this such a famous figure called Winston, I couldn't get past it. And then I knew Winston at college. He was a real drama guy, and all the girls really fancied him. He was called Winston, and that kind of just pivoted it for me. But I still wouldn't have used it until recently. I've started to see it get a bit of outsider use, and I'm suddenly thinking, with Winnie being so popular for girls, kind of thinking that Winston's really cute all of a sudden. It's sort of shrugged off its kind of Winston Churchill vibes. And also, we've talked a lot about Winston Churchill more positively recently, about, you know, Britain and leading us through the war and stuff. So maybe that's also why. The name Mavis, I love it. Maeve is so popular, and I just campaigning for the name Mavis because it's a bird name, Mavis bird, a songbird, so beautiful, and I just think it's so pretty. And for me, just Maeve is gorgeous as well, but I love Mavis. Just think it's so soft and stunning, but I think a lot of you would still be like, oh, it's a bit old-fashioned, which I get. Agatha, I'm quite liking it. In Sweden they say Agatha, so it's a bit different, but Agatha, I feel like with Agnes, some people don't like the you tell I'm getting nervous. But Agatha for me, I just think it's getting to be the right point of vintage. Actually, all of these are pretty vintage, and the last ones are quite modern. Percival is one that I also really like. I always tried to sell Percy into Henrik, my husband, and he just wasn't having Percy at all. And then one of our neighbours chose Percy, and I was a bit gutted. But I do get it, and he's so terrible. He's always like, Percy Pigs. Like, he'll always think of like the one thing that a child might say. But I'm like, you can say things about anything, but I think Percival makes it as a more grand name. He wouldn't go for that either. He would absolutely veto it, but I quite like it. I feel like these longer forms are going to come back. I'm going to drop it in on Steph's Pat Lunch. But then other names I love, like I love Scout for a girl. I think is so gorgeous. I can just imagine Evelina being called Scout. It really would suit her, would suit us as a family. We're so like outdoorsy as a family. All our holidays are more like off-grid holidays. And I just think it's such a gorgeous, fun name. Maybe I should just adopt it as her nickname. If she ever wants a nickname, it doesn't have to be a short form of her name. I can just say, you're like a little scout. What do you reckon? Or I love Dusty. So I love Dusty Springfield. That would be another nickname for her actually, because we had Dusty Springfield as our wedding song, I Only Want to Be With You, and it was really lovely. And it would be quite cool to call her Dusty. And I've seen a few Dusties sprinkling around. I think some people like it, but then some people just think of it as like a Western male cowboy. And then some of it's here as this like dusty pink, dusty rose type of thing. So what do you think? And the very last one, oh I've got 1 minute, is Park for boys. Really like the name Park. I sort of played around with Parker when I was pregnant with Freddie. And I was kind of like, oh, Parker, but I wasn't too sure. It sounded a little bit kind of street for us. But then I really like Park just by itself. Don't know why. I spend lots of time at the park. I don't like the name Mark. I like the name Park. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I've literally got to go downstairs now and go and get mic'd up to go on the show. I didn't want to let Baby Mondays go by, so I'm talking quietly. I'm really aware that there's like other people going on the show and stuff around me. I will leave links to the podcast below if you haven't listened to all of the episodes, and it's coming back soon. Yay! And wish me luck for now. I've got to run. I just would rather stay and talk to you because I'm scared. Right, I will see you next week, guys. Happy bank holiday Monday if you're in the UK. Happy Mother's Day if it's Mother's Day where you are. I know it is around the world, and I will see you next week. Let me know names you love and hate below.